It's with great pleasure that I enter in your house right now. Yeah, we are back to a time in which we can carry on the teaching. So it's the second part. Yeah, it's the part two. The first one was the previous one, and now we are going to we are on the second part. But first of all, we're gonna pray together. But the title that we are going to take a look for today is "You have been completely deceived, but these 10 commandments of the Jews are destroyed." Yeah, because that you were observing this, so I'm gonna prove you that you were being deceived. First of all, at first you were in a false hope, and now you were deceived. So it's up to you now to think ahead. But it's all about love to save your spirit. But I haven't come to save your flesh because it is something which will get back to dust. But the one which will not get back to dust, but it will be sent to hell if it doesn't repent, which is your spirit. So that is what I am gonna save. So Elia is gonna save Ziadiha Elia, the ambassador of Yahushua, and beloved dad YAHVAH. Okay, so we are back to the moment in which we can carry on the teaching. The teaching which is shown on the screen is the number 18. So yeah, let's adjust this time because the technician has made a remark like it is not straight. Yeah. So the teaching that we are going to take a look for today is, I'm gonna make a summary, a short summary of the previous teaching. So I'm gonna make it on the board. So we're gonna follow it accordingly. So here, the law of Moshe, the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe, there was uh, a command. First of all, it is made only for the children of Israel. Yeah, Z-I means the children of Israel. So it is only made for them. Secondly, it's only in Israel land that it can be observed. It's only in Israel land that it can be observed. So these are the law that we have seen previously. So if we are taking a look at it carefully, so here let's give the reference for this one. It's Exodus chapter 19, verse 3 to 5, and Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. So that is for that. That is for that one. Psalm 147, verse 19 and 20. And here, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. That is for which state that it's only in Israel. So there is also Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 1. So there is a huge barrier here. We're going to make it with red. Third one. So there is a clear word here that you cannot add, you cannot subtract this. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. So this is the barrier. You cannot touch this. You cannot modify this. Deuteronomy chapter 12, 13 1 for Malagasy version, but for English and French version, it's different. So it's in chapter 12, verse 32. So in general, to sum up, it is forbidden to observe the Ten Commandments of Moshe because it breaks the law. For example, French, American, English, or Japanese or African who observe the Ten Commandments and they break the law of that YAHVAH because it is said that you cannot add, you cannot subtract, but it's only made for the children of Israel, and it is in Israel. It's only in Israel that it can be observed. So it is. Let's write it down here. Let's write it like observed, observed, observed in Israel, observed in Israel. So it's in Israel that it can be observed. And it's the children of Israel who can follow and observe these 10 commandments. So let's make it bigger. 10 commandments. Let's make it here. 10 commandments. It's made for the children of Israel only, and in Israel. It is observed in Israel. Yeah, it's in Israel that it is observed, and the Ten Commandments is made for the children of Israel. So this is the conclusion for the previous explanation. So those who observe that are they become sinners because they have broken this law. So what is the next danger for those who keep observing this? The next danger is once the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe was given to the children of Israel, they have made everything because they knew that there is an atonement for sin once a year. So yeah, um, the atonement for sin is in number 16 verse 1 to 34. Yeah, we're gonna see after. So this atonement for sin is in once a year, is performed once a year. So they have seen that, and they took advantage of that. Say they are doing evil and they expect this atonement for sin, which is once a year. So they took advantage by doing everything, and then they rush up to get the atonement for sin, which happens once a year, which means the children of Israel has committed a bad, evil thing, and they just wait for the atonement for sin, and then he is performing sacrifice, because the sacrifice you bring offering like bull, goat, and a sheep, and they are washed away from their sins according to that YAHVAH, which is made once a year, and then they are committing evil thing. But once this time has come, they rush up to bring the offering to get deliverance from sin. So they have taken advantage badly. They're a profiteer. They they take advantage that there was that atonement for sin, and that YAHVAH has warned them, and he was like, what you do is not good for me, and it's a disaster for you if you don't follow my words, and you cannot think like you're gonna always be free because I give you forgiveness of sin, but once you turned against it, so it will be a disaster for you. So let's read the passage which states that there is an atonement for sins once a year. So Leviticus chapter 16. Leviticus chapter 16. We're gonna read from the verse 3. Leviticus chapter 16 verse 3. This is how Aaron is to enter the most holy place. He must first bring a young bull for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. So this is what I have told you, that there is a sacrifice. It's an offering for the sin, and a burnt offering. There is a bull, there is a sheep, there is a goat, male, all male. So let's read again. Let's continue. Let's keep reading. So there is the bull, verse 5. Yeah, Leviticus chapter 16 verse 5. From the Israelite community, he is to take 2 male goats for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. So here, sheep is involved for a burnt offering. Aaron is to offer the bull for his own sin offering to make atonement for himself and his household. Then he is to take the 2 goats and present them before YAHVAH at the entrance to the tent of meeting. So here is the sacrifice for the atonement of sin, including the priest and the high priest. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, one for YAHVAH and the other for the scapegoat. Yeah, there are lots of protocol that we are not gonna read it, but then At quite at the end, there is the atonement for sin. So we're gonna read verse 29 until the last part. This is to be a lasting ordinance for you. On the 10th day of the 7th month, you must suffer yourselves. Yeah, so yeah, that is, yeah, we have to fix what we can fix too. So you must suffer yourselves and not do any work, whether native born or a foreign resident among you. Because on this day atonement will be made for you to cleanse you. Then before YAHVAH you will be clean from all your sins. So this is an atonement which is made once a year. It is a day of Sabbath rest, and you must suffer yourselves. It is a lasting ordinance. The priest who is anointed and ordained to succeed his father as high priest is to make atonement, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's read the verse 34. This is to be a last ordinance for you. Atonement is to be made once a year for all the sins of the Israelites. So here, the words is there is an atonement for sins once a year. That is for us who are following the teaching. Okay, so here there is an atonement for sin for the children of Israel, which is made once a year according to the word which we have read. So it is once a year. So this is what the children of Israel took advantage. They took advantage of it. So they were like, there is an atonement for sin. So they took advantage by doing everything, and after doing everything, they are just waiting for the atonement for sin, which is once a year, and they just like pretend to bring offering. That is dangerous. That thing is so dangerous. That is what happened. That is dangerous, which takes advantage from this God of Abraham, and that is dangerous. So because of that, that's why Daddy Ava said the sacrifice it doesn't work for me anymore, which means the forgiveness of sin doesn't work for me anymore. Here we can see that observing the Ten Commandments is so dangerous. The Ten Commandments of the law of Moshe, including paying the tithe, it is so dangerous because all of them are the law of Moshe. If you're gonna read Malachi chapter 3 verse 22, let's read this. Because we have seen earlier that there is an atonement for sin. So if that doesn't exist anymore, so it doesn't work anymore. Let's read Malachi 3:10. There is something about tithe here. So here, where the religious leader deceive people, here it is. So this is a deceit. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says YAHVAH Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the food stages of heaven and pour out so much blessing that where there will not be rooms enough to store you. Yeah, people are blind with the miracles and blessings. So yeah, all humans are now threatened by that. Like if you don't pay tithe, it's dangerous for you, and so on and so forth. But look, it's the law of Moshe. So we're gonna read in the in its verse. It says in the verse 22. It is said in the verse 22. Malachi chapter 4 verse 22. It seems like it didn't move. It didn't move at all. What happened? Okay, that's it. Remember the law of my servant Moshe, the decrees and laws I gave him at Horeb for all Israel. So here the words of God say, remember the law of Moshe. Yes, so this Malachi chapter 3 verse 10, which is used to threaten you like this is the tithe of God and the law of God. This is the Ten Commandments and nothing yet, nothing else, nothing more. So this is the law of Moshe. So this tithe, it is made for the children of Israel only. I didn't say that paying money is bad, but these are the deceit which is used to deceive you. And the tithe is made for the children of Israel, not for you French or American or English. There is no God who blesses you. It's all about deceit. It's the devil who blessed you. Because here, yeah, remember the law which is given to all the Israel. So the Malachi 3:10 is a command for the children of Israel, not for you Malagasy or French or American or English or African, but it's to deceive you. Now you are again sinner. Once you die, you go to hell. So you who pay tithe, you will go to hell because you have broken the law. It was not made for you, but you have been well deceived. Yeah, that is the title. You have been deceived. You who are listening to me, you who are watching me, this word is for you. You have been deceived. Aren't you still conscious? You say that you were knowledgeable and your degrees like professors. How many years have you spent in university? You were doctors, you were engineer, but why can't you understand that word? Your degrees is debatable. You cannot understand that simple word, but you have been deceived by the religious leader, even though they threw you to hell because you broke the law and you don't care. That means that you were not praying, but you were just showing up. So wait for your death. But those who are not proud, but they are looking for the God of Abraham, listen to this word and save your spirit. Eliad didn't come to save your flesh. How can I save? What is the need for saving the flesh, which will get back to dust? But the one to be saved is your spirit. So we have to get back to YAHOSHUAH. Follow Eliah. I'm going to bring you to YAHOSHUAH, the Son of the Most High, the one who sent me, and that YAHVAH who sent me. We are going to. I'm going to bring you there if you want, but if you don't want, just stay there. Yeah, and wait for the consequences. That is for those who are arrogant and those who despise. Yeah, wait for the consequences because we're gonna still see each other. Okay, let's carry on. So what did that YAHVAH say? He said, I am done with what you did. I don't need your sacrifice. I don't need your bull or your sheep anymore. I am fed up. So once that YAHVAH said that, it means that the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe cannot be observed anymore. It's forbidden. Why? Because it's really the atonement of sin which is being told like I don't need the sacrifice anymore. However, the sacrifice is the atonement for sin. So if the atonement for sin is forbidden to be performed, so why do you need to what is the need of observing the Ten Commandments? Because once you observe the Ten Commandments, you are observing the law which says the atonement for sin which you have in these Ten Commandments. Yeah, because it's a covenant. So it's this sacrifice which is the atonement of sin for you in this covenant. Okay, let's erase this for a moment. And then we are going to draw again. So this is the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe. Oh, it's really bold. So this is the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe. So they are in a book. There is Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe. Ten Commandments plus law of Moshe. LM is law of Moshe. LMH. Ten Commandments plus law of Moshe. So it is in one book. The one that Moshe wrote according to Exodus. Oh, wait. according to the book of Exodus 24, verse 3 to 8. So this covenant, there was a blood of bull which was poured out. So this is BF, the book of covenant. So it's in only in one book. So it contains the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe. It is all there in this book. So this is the book of covenant. That is the BF. So blood of bull was poured out on it. So let's take it down. Let's write it down here. Bull of blood was poured out. So this is the blood of the bull. Yeah, here it is. So this blood was poured out. Once the blood was poured out, you cannot add, you cannot subtract it. That was the Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. You cannot add, you cannot subtract. And Deuteronomy chapter 12, 32. So yeah, the Ten Commandments and law of Moshe cannot be added and cannot be subtracted. So that is Exodus chapter 24, verse 3 to 8. Exodus chapter 24, verse 3 to 8, where it is said that this book of covenant, there was blood of bull which was poured out. So you cannot add, you cannot subtract it. So here we're gonna write it with a yellow, that a blood of bull was poured out. Exodus chapter 24, verse 7, 8. So we're gonna make it special that the blood of bull was poured out. So this was the book of covenant, and you cannot add, you cannot subtract it, according to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2 and verse 12, verse 32. So this says that you cannot touch it, you cannot modify it. So, and it's only in one book, and you cannot tear them apart. So we're gonna take a look at the first king, in case there are some who want to split it. First King chapter 2, verse 3. Okay. First Kings verse 2, verse 3. Where was it? Okay. And observe what YAHVAH your God requires. Walk in obedience to Him, and keep His decrees and commands, His laws and regulations, as written in the law of Moshe. Yeah. Do this so that you may prosper in all you do and whatever you go. So in this book of covenant, in the law of Moshe, that Moshe wrote, everything is in the law of the decrees, the covenant, the commands, the laws and regulations, and so on. So what I mean is, you cannot split the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe. In case people may say, the Ten Commandments is different and the law of Moshe is different, but they are one. So they are here. So it's obvious with what I gave you. You cannot add, you cannot subtract. So in this book, there is a word which says the sacrifice is the atonement for your sin. So we're gonna write it down here. We're gonna write it with blue, which is in this book. So I'm gonna write it here. This is the sacrifice. So the sacrifice is the atonement for sin for those who observe these Ten Commandments and law of Moshe. So this is the atonement for sin. So, well, once this is not there, those who observe the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe are not washed away from their sins. Once this sacrifice is removed, so all who dwell in these Ten Commandments and law of Moshe are all sinners and forever. That's why you say that you must sin, that you who observe the Ten Commandments, because it's the sacrifice itself which is not there. And the dangerous thing is, once this sacrifice is destroyed, was removed. You have changed it. You have replaced it with Jesus and Jesus. It's you who fake Christians who did that. You substituted with Jesus and Jesus. You have been deceived. Well, you have been deceived completely, and there was no such deceit. So bad. So let's read the words of the apostle. Even the small apostle has said too. I'm talking about Apostle Paul, Hebrews 7:11. It's the sacrifice which is the foundation of the law which is given to you. Because once that Yahweh gave, like, do not murder, do not steal, and do this, do that. If the children of Israel broke them, so there must be, I mean, because they become sinners once they broke it, so there must be an atonement for sin. I repeat again. So these comments, which is 613, so if they broke a law among them, so that Yahweh has given like a barrier. So that Yahweh was like, if there is a law that you have broken, so I have given you a law for the atonement of your sin. So this atonement for sin, which is the sacrifice, which removes your sins. So it's like they become washed away from their sins. I mean, the children of Israel. So, and that is actually what happened. So this law of Moshe and Ten Commandments were given. There were already a barrier or a fence. So this fence is the foundation. I, yeah, it's not a fence to be specific, because fence is protecting, but it doesn't protect. But it's a foundation which removed the sin so that the children of Israel can get along with that Yahweh. So they were given that sacrifice for the atonement for their sins. So if there is no atonement for sins, the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe cannot be established. Otherwise, they are always sinners. They remain sinners. They become sinners. So that's why the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe were not given unless the atonement for sin was given. So it's the atonement for sin which made the Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe exist. Because if there was no atonement of sin for sin, which is that sacrifice, and you give that Ten Commandments and the law of Moshe, so everyone who dwells in it are all sinners. But because there is already a sacrifice, so it's good, because once the children of Israel sin, there is already atonement for sin, so that they are washed away from their sins. That's why the sacrifice is a foundation, is the foundation. However, you already understand it, quite understand it, that the YAHVAH has destroyed the foundation, the atonement for sin. So it's obvious that those who dwell in the Ten Commandments, they are doomed to hell forever. So let's read the words of Paul in Hebrew chapter 7 verse 11. Where is it again? If perfection could have been attained through the Levitical priesthood, because it was from that people has got the law. So let's read it in French version. So it's the foundation. The Levitical priesthood was the foundation of the law which were given to the people of Israel. Okay, let's read it. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 11. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 11. We're gonna read it in the name of YAHOSHUAH. Okay, let's wait for a moment, because the picture hasn't shown yet. The connection is so slow. Doesn't it work? Okay, that's it. If perfection could have been attained through, because it's on this Levitical priesthood that the law given to the people of Israel was established. So this Levitical priesthood was the sacrifice.